11:58 p.m. The same bathroom mirror. You catch your own face mid-scowl. This time, you don't flinch. You just look. Same tight mouth, the same face that used to make you glance away as fast as you could. Nothing in the room has changed. The jaw is tight. The light is bad. The house is quiet. A year ago, the thought under this exact expression was simple. Not that again. Tonight the thought is different. Not that again. And also, fair enough. So you hold the look 1 second longer than you used to. Nothing dramatic happens in that second. No music swells. No revelation arrives. You just keep looking, and the face keeps being yours. By the end of this file, you'll understand exactly what changed in that 1 extra second, and how to get more of them, on purpose. This file closes something this channel opened a while back. Jung called the part, "You disown the shadow." Everyone has one. Nobody gets to opt out of the mechanism, only out of noticing it. The first file in this arc spent its whole runtime just getting you to admit the shadow exists in the first place. The question it actually answers isn't what the shadow is. It's what you're supposed to do once you've finally seen yours. Not destroy it. Not perform having transcended it on camera. Something much less dramatic and much harder to fake. This is the file where naming it stops being enough. Quick recap for anyone arriving fresh. The persona is the mask. The shadow is everything the mask can't afford to show. Projection is what happens when the shadow gets relocated onto someone else's face instead of looked at directly. In practice, that looks like a calm coworker who can't stand being calm around one specific colleague, for reasons that never quite add up. The shadow isn't evil by default. It's just unsupervised. Left alone in the basement long enough, anything starts to smell. Jung's word for what comes after all three of those get noticed was individuation. Not a cure, not an ending, a process, becoming one undivided person instead of a mask standing permanent guard over a stranger. This file assumes you've already sat with that recognition. If you haven't, Carl Jung and the shadow is the place to start instead. 5 mechanisms make up what that process actually looks like. Once someone stops just naming the shadow and starts doing something with it, here's the part that trips up almost everyone who tries this. Making peace with the shadow sounds like it should mean getting rid of it, cleaning the house out completely. That's not the mechanism, and chasing it is exactly why so many people quit the process in the first year. They wait for the shadow to disappear, get frustrated when it doesn't, and decide the whole idea was a scam. It isn't a discipline problem. It's a misunderstanding about what the mechanism was ever supposed to do. The shadow doesn't leave, it just stops running the show from underneath the floor. The first mechanism is the return of the projection. The mind that denies a trait in itself reliably relocates that same trait onto someone else. It never notices the transfer happened. Individuation starts with running that mechanism backward, taking the trait you've been so sure belongs to your coworker, your ex, that one stranger online, and asking, seriously, for once, if any of it is also yours. Not all of it. It rarely is, but rarely isn't the same as never. Picture the specific person who irritates you most for something that seems, on paper, fairly small. Now picture the version of that same trait you've quietly forgiven in yourself. More than once, without ever naming it out loud. This is the exact reversal of what covert narcissist and Grey Rock both described from the outside. Someone else refusing to carry their own shadow. Most people spend years defending the transfer instead of noticing it, because defending it feels like loyalty to being right. The moment the trait comes back home, the irritation usually drops by half, even before anything else changes. Quick pause before we go further. I'm Stephen. I build these files alone. Research, writing, sourcing. No sponsor decides what gets covered here. If this file is worth something to you, a like and a subscription cost nothing, and keep this channel independent. One word in the comments, shadow or persona, tells me which mechanism actually landed. Back to the file. The second mechanism is the mask that isn't load-bearing anymore. The persona exists for a reason. It got built during years when showing the real shape underneath would have cost something real. Maybe it kept a kid safe in a house where the wrong mood at the wrong time had real consequences. Maybe it just got someone through a decade of jobs where competence had to look effortless, whatever it actually cost underneath. The gap between the mask you show and the person you actually are creates most of that quiet, chronic tension. Individuation doesn't mean burning the mask in public. It means checking, room by room, which walls it's still actually holding up. Some walls are worth keeping. A few are just habit wearing the costume of self-protection. Most of them, it turns out, stopped being load-bearing years ago. That's not a failure of character. It's just outdated architecture nobody ever went back to renovate. The mask kept doing its job long after the threat it was built for had disappeared. Here's where this stops being just about the mirror. Every projection you take back is one less thing you're quietly punishing someone else for being. The coworker who irritates you, the ex who still gets blamed in stories you tell at dinner, some of that weight was never actually theirs to carry. You just needed somewhere to set it down, and they were standing closest. The dark files on this channel watched this from the outside. The damage done by people who never reclaim any of it. This file is the other half of that equation. This doesn't require the other person to apologize, notice, or even know it happened. Individuation isn't a solo project. It's what quietly changes every relationship around you. Once you stop making other people hold your shadow for you. The third mechanism is the cost of holding it down. Actively suppressing a thought reliably makes that same thought return more often. Psychologists call it the rebound effect. The shadow works the same way. The harder it gets pushed down, the more it leaks out sideways. It shows up as the joke that lands too hard, carrying more anger than the moment could ever explain. It shows up as the silence that outlasts the argument by 3 days. It shows up as the headache that arrives every Sunday night, on schedule, with no cause any doctor can find. Repression isn't discipline. It's borrowing calm now and repaying it later, usually with interest. Usually on someone who didn't cause the debt. The bill always comes due. It just rarely arrives addressed to the right person. This doesn't make someone a bad person. It makes them a person who was never taught where the pressure was supposed to go. And it isn't a malfunction. It's the system doing exactly what suppression always makes it do. The fourth mechanism is integration, not erasure. Jung's collaborators described individuation as the shadow and the persona finally sharing one address instead of competing. The judgment, corrected into something closer to company than cruelty. The war, downgraded into a negotiation. The self, widened instead of scrubbed clean. This isn't the shadow winning, and it isn't the persona winning either. Both of them stop needing to win at all. What's left afterward is quieter than either version was on its own. Less performance, less policing, more room to just be in a given room. The exhausting part was never the shadow itself. It was the guarding. That quiet is usually the first sign the process is actually working, rather than the dramatic breakthrough people expect instead. Some days the shadow gets the final word, some days the persona does. Individuation just means neither one gets it by default anymore. Nobody films the moment it happens, because there usually isn't one single moment. There's just a Tuesday that goes a little easier than the one before it. That's the difference between managing a shadow and starting to make peace with it. One correction before the last mechanism. This was never a one-time confession. Naming the shadow once doesn't file it away for good. It's a room that needs checking on, not a door you close once and forget. The people who actually finish this process are the ones who stopped waiting for a finish line. That's not the method failing. That's the method working exactly the way it's supposed to. The fifth mechanism is the gold in the shadow. Here's what nobody warns you about the basement. Not everything you buried down there was ugly. Repression doesn't sort. It buries the shameful and the useful in the same box, under the same lid. The anger you were taught to swallow. The ambition that felt unsafe to want out loud. The flat, clean no you never got to say without paying for it afterward. All of it went down together. Nothing got labeled on the way in. So when the mask finally comes off, you don't only find the parts you were afraid of. You find the parts you were good at, before someone taught you they were dangerous. The bluntness that reads as cruelty when it's disowned becomes a spine once it's owned. The intensity that leaks out as overreaction becomes drive, the moment it has somewhere legitimate to go. This is the part of the process almost nobody sees coming. You brace for a monster and meet an ally. The scary part was never the trait itself. It was how long it stayed unsupervised in the dark. Picture the last time you said the hard thing cleanly and didn't apologize for it afterward. That steadiness didn't arrive from nowhere. It came up from the same basement as everything else. Integration doesn't only make you calmer, it hands back the energy suppression was burning to keep the lid shut. Owned, that energy is a tool. Disowned, it's a weapon that only ever fires at the wrong target. People spend a lifetime afraid of the one trait that would have finally protected them. The shadow was holding your strength the whole time. It just refused to hand it over until you looked. The same mechanism runs at every scale a life comes in. One public figure keeps the war running at the scale of an entire industry and never once lets it end. Another opens her shadow on purpose in the open and builds a legacy out of the opening. Neither of them needs a mirror at 11:58 p.m. to do it. It scales up and down without changing shape. Same mechanism, running at whatever size life happens to hand a person. Individuation isn't fame, and it isn't a talk show, and it doesn't require either one. It's available at the scale of a single mirror on an ordinary night, to anyone willing to hold the look 1 second longer. That's the actual promise this whole file made at the very start, in a bathroom, at 11:58 p.m. The shadow was never the monster in this file. The monster was always the part of the story where nobody ever looked back, and the strength you filed away as too much, years ago, was down there the whole time. That extra second isn't only where the fear loosens, it's where the gold comes back up. Everyone has a basement. The only real question is whether anyone ever goes down with a light. That's the whole arc, closed. Not a monster hiding, not a stranger in the glass. Just you, finally wide enough to hold all of it at once. This has been the file on individuation, how to make peace with your own shadow. File closed. Making peace with your own shadow is one kind of ending. The next file is about a very different one, when someone else's shadow gets projected onto you so completely that you become the villain in a story you never wrote. Reactive abuse, how manipulators turn their victims into the villain.